Hello.
Ha,
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
ha,
Ah,
ah.
it's draw class. It's
It's
Friday.
it's DrawClass
Draw
Friday.
class Friday with me, Nathan, your teacher who didn't bring a lesson plan, and that's okay. We're just here to
You're the lesson plan,
You're the
Chad.
lesson plan. We're here to hang out. We're here to have fun. We're here to remember that drawing can be fun, can be relaxing, can be
Yeah,
energizing, can be
yeah.
meditative. And yeah, this is just sort of the theme of anytime I'm hosting a draw class, that's the vibe we're getting until further notice. It's going to be
Yeah.
very very similar to other draw classes because it's practice. And the thing about practice is it's repetitive, right?
Yeah.
You're doing similar things and it's not even that repetitive because it's every once every 4 months I'm doing it. And so we're just gonna start the same way we always do with some doodles. I just started going, but
Yay. I'm
we
making
can.
an announcement, so you
Thanks, Karina. Karina's here, my wonderful teaching assistant,
moral support really.
moral support, and what have you. Oh, my Cintiq's doing that fun thing where it doesn't like to draw at the very bottom of the screen. That's cool.
Ooh.
That's okay. We don't need to go down there.
That's part of the practice, my dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the cool substitute teacher. We're watching a video today, and the video is of me doing this.
Imagine if you got a substitute teacher and he just came in and showed you like a home movie.
It's like, this is me when I was 4. I just got a toy truck. Um, anyway, drawing. That's what we're here to do. Thank you all also, everyone watching live. If you're here, it's because you're either a mod or you have chosen to support us on Patreon at the learner tier for this month. And we really do appreciate that. Patreon is the best way to support us directly, and these higher tiers are not as densely populated, and we really appreciate you giving us the big bucks. And I always want to make it worth your while. I joke about not having a lesson plan, but I still think um, I hope that you find value in just hanging out and drawing. Sometimes that's all you need to get motivated, right?
Yeah.
Like all I'm doing right now is drawing lines on the screen. We're not thinking hard about what we're drawing. This is actually the first thing that I've drawn today. So it's a true
Oh.
warm up. And as with practicing anything, whether it's a musical instrument, a sport, or drawing, it's always good to warm up. And since this is a guided practice, we're going through all the steps together. I don't expect you to come in hot. I don't expect you to come in warm. You can come in as cold as you want,
Ice cold.
and you're welcome to draw along. Everything that we're doing here, I believe, should be pretty easy to replicate, whether you're drawing digitally or um, traditionally. Just take a piece of paper. Doesn't even have to be good quality paper. Take any drawing implement, a pen, a pencil, whatever you got, a marker, and just draw some lines. Just draw some squiggles.
Woo.
I don't know why some in my head right now has got me drawing these sort of parallel lines. You're welcome to do the kind of lines I'm doing, these sort of bendy noodles sort of things. That's just what that's just what my hand started doing. And I encourage you to just sort of not think too hard about it. I've talked about this on other draw classes I've hosted, but a lot of times you can get in your own way by thinking too hard at the start of practice, putting too much pressure on yourself to draw something good That's not what we're here for. We're just here to practice. And part of practicing is just doing. The act of doing, wanting to do it perfect, wanting to do it the exact right way can often prevent you from doing the thing at all. And I can very much relate to that feeling. It's a constant nagging voice in my head as well. That it's why I procrastinate a lot. It's why I don't practice as often as I probably should as a professional artist, to be honest. Just a moment of honesty. But these are the times where you got to do it. I got to do it cuz you signed up. You should do it cuz you signed up. And we're all here together, and we're all just trying to trick our brains into letting us do the thing that we want to improve at. So there, that's my first doodle page done.
Nice.
Let's just do a scribble. Let's just get real loose with it, and let's just scribble it up. Let's just fill the page. This is how I'm doing it out of order today from how I normally do it. Normally I start with the scribble, but I don't know. I was feeling those lines. Sometimes your hand just starts going. You put the stylus in your hand, whatever you're drawing with, and your hand just starts going. And I always want to encourage you and myself to just let that happen. Because there's something, I don't know, there's something innate about wanting to create that rhymed. Didn't mean it to,
It's got bars.
but you pick up the stylus, and if the first thing that you feel compelled to do is just draw a little squiggle, do it. Don't put any pressure on it on the first thing you
Yeah.
draw the day. That's a surefire way to disappoint yourself and feel discouraged. So take all the
Yeah.
pressure out of it. Start to notice how you're holding the stylus. See if maybe you can loosen your grip a little bit and keep drawing. Find a comfortable posture. Unclench your jaw. But yeah, we're just warming up here, and as we warm up, if things spring to mind, things you want to work on, things you would like
Yeah.
to do today, leave it in chat. There are not a lot of us here. I will see your
Yeah.
chat if you leave it in chat.
There were a
Uh,
couple suggestions in DrawClass chat,
in
which I think you've seen.
Yes, and I will certainly look at those as well, and we'll try and cover as much as we can
Yeah.
once we're done with the warm up. We could even use one of these as part of the warm up. Um,
Perhaps the first one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you're
Hee hee
thinking of the
hee
same
hee.
one that I am. Yes, as Andrew Burt uh, suggested, we could do some carls during our warm up, and I love that idea. So again, we're just gonna sort of freeform it. We're
Yeah.
not looking at reference right now,
Draw your favorite Carls.
but some sort of corally shapes. And again, we're just doodling. We're just trying to fill the page. And if Carl's not what you're into, you don't have to. They don't need to be Carls. They could be weird little fingers. They could be whatever you want.
Yeah.
But I'm just sort of. I was just at the Boston Aquarium. They got lots of good coral there. So I've got coral on the brain. It was a topical
Ooh.
suggestion. But yeah, coral's great for just drawing some shapes, for getting loose with it.
Do you
Just
have a favorite kind?
I don't even know I don't even know the names of them. I mean, I like the kind that looks like whatever I'm drawing right now.
Oh.
Um, but yeah, and with this one, it doesn't have to be representative, but if in your mind you're on this coral train with us, you can try and think about depth a little bit, about layering these different squiggles in the background and foreground, putting bits in front of each other and sort of making this little scenescape of just sort of lumps and bumps and squiggles. And I think that's pretty neat. Thank you, Xandru Burt. Xandru Burt, a constant presence in Draw
For
Class.
real.
I don't know how many months they've been a patron at this
So
tier, but
many.
it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to have you in here, Xandru Burt. So thank you. Thank you for the suggestion. Thanks for being here. Thanks everyone for being here. If it's your first Draw Class stream, welcome. I think I saw it was someone's first that they were catching.
Yeah.
Who said it was their first?
Tiniest hands.
Or Ribbon just hasn't been in a while. Welcome back, Ribbon. Tiniest Hands?
Yeah.
Is their first. Is that their name?
Yes.
Welcome, Tiniest Hands. Welcome, Tiniest. Is that their name? What are you talking? No, this is Carl, Karina.
Well, look at all these tiny hands.
Very tiny hands.
Girl, what? What are you saying?
Welcome, Tiniest Hands. We got 15 people watching right now. That feels high for a draw class. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
We're just drawing some coral. We're just doing some coral warm up.
Drawing Carl?
We're drawing corals. And maybe after we do this one, we'll look at some reference. We can do it sort of Jacob style, where first you draw from your imagination, then you look at reference, and then you go back to imagining.
Whoa.
Let's see, because this is not. I could say this is coral, but it's kind of becoming
Tiny hands.
tiny hands a little bit, and that's okay. We're still warming up. Doesn't have to be exactly what we said. It's just sort of a jumping off point at this point. Whether you're drawing Carls, you're drawing spaghettis, you're drawing tiny hands, you're drawing little guys. Whatever helps you just sort of get out of your head a little bit and just sort of fall into the drawing, the act of drawing, and just letting your mind wander a little bit, relaxing the part of your brain that's always talking to you, and let the part of your brain that's quiet take over a little bit, because it's doing stuff. And when you let that part of your brain loose, you can surprise yourself. You can find some fun stuff. And that's the part that we're trying to exercise here. The connection between your conceptual, creative brain and the physical motor skills that allow you to take the thoughts and ideas that are inside of you and convey them.
Nathan, you're so deep today.
This is this is my this is the vibe. This is the vibe I
I
bring
like it.
to my to the draw classes I host. What I lack in planning, I make up for in vibes. I was looking back at some of the VODs of similar type classes I've hosted, and people are very positive in there. They seem to enjoy this, so I'm just gonna keep doing it as long as people are enjoying it. Because
Hell yeah.
sometimes, like, obviously, like, Julia's gonna give you a whole lesson plan. She's gonna teach you a skill step by step. She's a font of knowledge on so many different things, and I'm always fascinated to learn from her. That's just not how I operate. We each, I feel like, bring different things to the table. Um, but if you find it helpful to just have like a buddy, an internet buddy, encouraging you to do a thing that maybe you've been putting off, maybe you wish you had more time to do, and you just haven't done it. Maybe you're putting too much pressure on yourself. I'm here to give you permission to just go for it. We're
Whoa.
just here to hang. We're just here to vibe.
Parasocial much.
Yeah. Parasocial for price.
Yeah. Premium
This is the this
parasocial
is the premium
experience.
parasocial experience. You give us your draw class money, you can absolutely parasocial with us
With
once a month.
Nathan.
Hmm?
With
With
Nathan.
me. Just me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah, what I lack in planning and formal knowledge, I make up for in vibes and parasocial friendship, and I hope you find value in that. If you're watching the VOD later, if that sounds good to you, we always
Yeah.
announce who's hosting the draw class in advance, so uh, you can sign up. Okay, so this is a very abstract sort of choral warm up piece we've done here. Um,
Ooh.
let's grab a little reference. I'm just gonna use the image that Xandra Burt put in the chat. Um, and we'll try again, and this time we will draw from this. So I'm just gonna put this over here. And again, we're not gonna think too hard about it. We're not going for like 100% fidelity here. But now we've got all these shapes to work with, and as you can see, there's a lot more diversity of shapes than I was doing in that first one. And so we're just gonna you can pick any spot, and again, we're just gonna practice looking. Try and spend as much time looking at the reference image as you spend looking at what you're drawing. If you can spend even more time looking at the reference image than what you're drawing, even better.
Yeah.
Um, because a lot of drawing skill is just practicing seeing. A lot of the time when you're looking at stuff, you're not really seeing it. Your brain is taking shortcuts. It's trying to use symbols as shorthand to save brain space and energy. When you look at something, your brain goes, "Oh, I know what that is. That's Carl. We know what Carl is."
That's Carl.
And that's Carl. That's our old pal Carl. And so you know, it's not assessing exactly, the exact shape that the negative space between two different Carls and sea anemones make. And to extrapolate from that, that can I find that that happens a lot when it comes to like drawing people, especially because it's like in your brain you're like, I know what people look like, and you're not really seeing as an artist should. You're just like, I have an idea in my head of what a thing's supposed to look like, and I'm just going to try and replicate that. And I think it's always good to sort of put that part of your brain in check and be like, no, no, let's pretend we don't know what anything is, and we're just seeing these shapes and we're just trying to articulate them using lines. Let's just view the outlines, the contours, the different shapes that happen naturally as we look.
It's actually kind of crazy how studying something makes you better at drawing it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
it is.
So
I mean, I've like said this before in some place, who knows anymore.
yeah,
But when I was in high school, I did have the teachers that discouraged you from drawing anime.
right.
But it had more to do with the fact that they wanted to encourage you to study more and like learn how things were drawn in different styles and like get your foundations in before turning that around to apply to how you think you want things to look like,
Yeah,
as in your art style. And it, I'm sorry to say, it did make me better.
yeah. It's always good to just explore different styles. Like anime,
Yeah.
I think you can learn a lot from because I mean also there are just so many different styles within
Yeah.
the genre
Yeah, but
of
any sort of
anime.
stylization, if you jump straight to stylization and just only drawing from your brain, then yeah, you're just kind of making it up, which, there's value in that too. But if you want things to look a certain way, you have to use reference.
Yeah. It helps to actually understand what the style that you like is
Yeah.
stylizing. Like
Yep.
any well stylized thing is based off of a deep understanding of whatever is being abstracted using that style. Carl is I keep calling it Carl.
I can't unhear. Oh, my
Carl
Carl.
was with hats, remember that? Didn't they just have like their
Lord.
10-year
It can't
anniversary?
it can't
No.
only be 10
No,
years.
maybe it was 20 years.
Oh,
Maybe
lordy.
it was 20. I don't, yeah, that would make more sense. 15 years? It was some it was some number of years. Cuz what? I watched that when I was in college, and that was much more than 10 years ago at this point.
I
So,
think I'm coming up on 10 years out of college. That's next year.
oh.
Because that means that Dirty Paws is turning 10.
Ooh, happy birthday. Happy pause day.
Happy Dirty Paws
Happy
to
dirt
all who
day.
celebrate Dirt Day.
And of course, I'm just doing line work because that's what I feel the most comfortable warming up doing. But if like if you got some paints or some markers and you want to like look at the different colors we got going on here as well, definitely feel free. You know, I'm not here to tell you how to practice. I'm merely offering you
Mm.
some potential avenues to
I
explore.
I am like always saying this, but we need to like have a day where we just cut loose a little and get away from the screen.
Yeah, I'm down.
I was doing some drafting work for a client, and I ended up just like doing all of my notes on one sheet of newsprint paper.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually just kind of nice to just sit at my stupid little table with my stupid little 18 by 24 newsprint pad and just like freestyle it. It wasn't good for sending to him to be like, no, trust me, just follow the arrows. But but it was just kind of it felt nice to just kind of sit with it and do that.
Yeah,
I like working on a big piece of paper
it's
and with
crazy.
different mediums. Sorry.
Oh, it's just crazy how many different shapes there are in this.
Yeah. A lot of
Carl.
a lot of Carls are actually just a lot of shapes are just naturally occurring. Wow.
Wow.
I already did my warm up, so I'm kind of here doing my own thing.
If there's any, do you want to be my chat reader?
I
It
am.
is
I'm reading chat.
anything anything to report? Any good stuff in there?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
There was Zappy had a request in DrawClass chat.
Oh yeah, it was a hard one. I
We'll
saw it.
work up to that
We can
one.
work up to that one for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
I'll do
can.
that one with you.
Yeah, that's. I feel like
I
that's more your area of expertise, but I'm down. I'm down to try.
I'm gonna be so real. I'm like doodling Nando right now
Yeah.
because I was too tired on Father's Day to draw Nando. So we got there, gang.
There's a little fish. There's a little
Yeah,
fish right here.
my version of warm up sometimes is that I'll do my my Drawfee renders first thing in the day because a lot of them don't hold much emotional stake for me.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I don't even like some of them. So I can just kind of, blow off the dust doing those, and then I'm warmed up to do other more exciting things afterwards. I was just doing the one that I was like, oh, today,
Yeah.
as you know. So I was like, okay, now I can draw
There's another fish
well.
over here. I love these little fish just sort of like sticking their weird little faces in to the coral. They're just like hiding out. It's like wearing it like a hat almost.
Oh, to have nothing better to do with my life.
Just hiding out in the coral where the
I
big fish
I
can't get to me.
freaking wish on a day like today.
Oh yeah, would love nothing more.
I'm also like just getting progressively sleepy.
Oh
Um,
yeah, and
because
if you
you
want to
bring a
take a
very
nap
no
while
no.
you're watching, oh not you, no, I was talking to
Yeah. Oh, I thought okay. Honk shoo.
Karina just falls asleep mid
It's
practice.
it's a really like sunny hot day in New York,
Oh yeah,
so
we've been having a bit of a heated wave.
yeah. So it
Yeah.
really activates my cat brain and I just want to go take a nap. Nap in a sun adjacent area. Oh baby.
Oh baby. And yeah, as you can see, it's not one to one at all what I'm drawing. I've got stuff spaced all weird, and that's okay. This is just the warm up.
Yeah.
We're not going for fidelity. We're just vibing. But I do like this.
There's a lot of value to be had, I think, especially if you're interested in drawing like scenes, to do more of like a generalization anyway.
Yeah.
I think nothing like really helped me more at figuring out like digital painting than having just watched lots and lots of Bob Ross as a teenager.
Oh yeah.
And
Bob
even just
Ross.
doing something like this, I'm like, this would be kind of fun to Bob Ross.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah. It's just a lot of lumps. It's just a lot of
Yeah.
lumps and clusters, you know? I don't need to.
Sometimes, yeah, you'll get caught up in all the little details, but even if you're skimping on them, it looks like such a nice scene.
Yeah, thanks Andrew Burt for finding this image. I don't know the name of the photographer who took it, but obviously shout out to nature photographers. They do great work. Um, if I remember to look up who took this photo, I'll be sure to add their name to the description.
Yeah, source. Who did this?
Oh my God, who did this?
Source, the artist.
Uh,
Oh, Chris says I'm
Jacques
up in.
Cousteau. Yeah, this was this was taken by Jacques Cousteau.
Whoa.
Shout out to Jacques Cousteau.
Chris says I'm up in Vermont. We're having the same heat wave. I've got no work done this week. Something about it just turns me useless.
Yeah, it's like the whole Northeast is just getting absolutely fried right now.
Yeah,
Getting crispy fried.
yeah, I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, so I was like, gotta get my steps in. I'm gonna walk back. Gonna walk back from my appointment. It's only a mile and a half. Who cares?
Who cares?
Instantly gets vaporized.
Yeah. I walked over to your place from the subway on Tuesday, and that wasn't so bad. I don't think that was the worst day of it at
No,
all, but it still
it's
almost did me in.
I think today's the worst day.
Yeah, I had to
So I haven't even been outside today.
because it got kind of nice on Tuesday night a little bit. Um, had the windows open, but today the windows are closed and the AC is a hummin'.
I'm glad I had many, many a thingies to do today because one of my friends invited me to accompany him to sell some stuff at Book Off. And I was like, no.
No.
No, I'm
Oh
not
no.
going to such a place
Today, on a day such as
today.
today,
Yeah. And
simply,
it was very crowded. And I don't know if they have AC at the big Book Off.
a big crowded indoor space with no AC sounds not so good. I'm
No, thank you.
just gonna cheat it and put some fish in here in this little spot. This little
Yeah.
empty space. These fish are higher up in the image, but
Higher up in the food chain.
higher up in the food chain, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So that was a little Carl warm up. Let's get this big
Carl.
guy in here. I love these little like fish that look like this.
Have you ever been snorkeling?
Yeah, one time.
Yeah.
Only the one time. It
In a
was,
coral reef.
yeah,
Nice.
it was pretty cool. Once you got over the sort of way the snorkel tastes in your mouth.
Yeah. That's one way of putting it.
Just sort of like shapes in the background as well. Sort of lightly block those in.
Yeah.
Some bubbles. Yeah, we got a nice little warm up piece here. That's fun. That's fun.
Ooh,
Okay, I'm feeling warm.
yeah. Chat, you got any ideas
What
for
would you
what to
like
do
to do?
next?
If you don't, I have more I've got more
Yeah.
animals we can draw.
We have to ease into the hard request.
Yeah, we can do we do some animals. Just drawing from
Yeah.
reference is always good.
You love drawing
Yeah,
animals. We should
I
draw
always
animals.
I always go back to my comfort zone. I collected
Yeah.
a bunch of animals from Line of Action for the stream I did back in I want to say like last August, so like almost a year ago. And we didn't use all of them, so
Mm.
one thing I've been trying to work on is backgrounds for the sake of having a background, even though the character is not in a specific place, but that doesn't feel like a strong practice kind of thing. Well, I mean, it's just like sort of compositional, right?
Yeah.
So like, you know, you can practice putting characters in places. Like we could just sort of here, let's just get a little
Put
friend.
animals in places.
Yeah, it could be an animal. You know, draw a little friend here. So the character is the focal point. But where are they? So
Where are
where are
you?
you? So like,
I'm so sorry.
here's an example of I made the character kind of small, but we can practice sort of different sort of settings. So like the first question you got to ask yourself, where's the horizon line? Are they standing on it? Are we looking down at them? Are they like in a big field? Like just answering this question is gonna inform so much of what you're doing because it's like,
I like this character.
yeah, let's say like we're above them and we're looking at them. So we've got this horizon line that's like way back here. Um, so is it just like a barren field? That could work. The background is gonna sort of affect the mood. It's like, are they standing in this sort of barren field? Like that could work if that's the vibe you're going for, sort of like just sort of like a loner type character. But then, you can I put it on the same layer. I made a different layer and then I didn't. Okay, it's fine. Here. So that's one example. But then like if we use like the same horizon line, it's sloping. We didn't do our line practice yet. Okay. So
You're doing great.
it's like but like what if we fill it, right? We can provide a sense of scale, you know? It's like he's standing here, but like what if we don't even see the horizon line because there's so much stuff and that, it creates a completely different mood to just put like a bunch of larger shapes around this character. We don't need to super define what these They could be boulders, they could be shrubs, they could be coral. But like just by sort of filling out the space with shapes that are larger than the character, all of a sudden we've got this like different energy. And so it's like the background isn't the focal point of the piece, but it does inform how we, the viewer, see the character. Like this has a different feel than this, right? And then
Yeah.
like to contrast even more, you lower the horizon line, and you know, again we get a completely different vibe from this character now. Because yeah, like I understand as someone who finds drawing backgrounds stressful, not wanting to do them, just wanting to focus on the character. Um, but context is a great form of characterization, right? Like I didn't
Yeah.
change the character at all. I just drew this little guy and just sort of depending on the environment, depending on how you space them and what other information you want to provide, um it tells a different story. And
Yeah.
so yeah, like it's hard to practice that specifically, but it's good, it's good to just think about, right? Like it's good to
Yeah. I would say um as someone who largely focuses on drawing characters, I think if your intent is to like place them in a setting, that should be something that you think about from the very start.
that's also a good point.
Um, yeah, because uh, it'll inform like how you draw the character.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
if they're just a whittle guy, then you're gonna, you know, pose them to fit appropriately in a setting, uh, as opposed to if they're fucking massive, then
Right. So that was
yeah,
that was the adding a background after technique.
yeah.
But yeah, if you want to
My adding a background after technique is typically to put some sort of like funny shape or just use a stamp brush.
yeah.
I did also want to say that Iced uh, says, I've been trying to do backgrounds for my comic, but it's historical and drawing that is rather hard for me. I've been trying to use 3D backgrounds and just draw over them, but honestly, I feel like that's not genuine. Uh, I mean, a lot of people do that. I think it's just a matter of like either figuring out a way that you can utilize that tool to match how you feel it should like, work best for you because there can be a little bit of mismatch if you're just like using reference and like kind of redrawing it or something to like style match a little bit. But also, I think in this day and age and just how you set it up, and how much focus there is on the background, you can get away with it pretty easily. You don't need to constantly be drawing backgrounds in a comic. Uh, but I will say that as someone who reads a lot of like Korean webtoon and shit, like a lot of people do that. And sometimes one of my favorite comics, which I can't really plug because it's but they straight up don't draw over the 3D asset backgrounds half the time, and I like don't even care most of the time because I'm too busy appreciating the rest of the art of the comic because their paneling is really good and their character art is really good. So I think it's just a matter of like finding the way that you like to utilize it. Because it's a pretty common practice is all. Nathan, this is scary.
Just sort of, thumbnailing is a way
Yeah, the
to
the
sort of
planning of
yeah.
any piece is really important.
So yeah, you can do little sketches,
Sketches.
see how you want your character to seem, and
Yeah.
that can help you plan your background. It can also, again, if you don't really want to have much background, like Karina said, you can, try and pose your character so that they're taking up most of most of the space.
Yeah.
Like
Whenever I post my art, because I still post regularly on Tumblr, I tag most things as doodles. And people will be like, "What do you mean a doodle?" Because it looks done. I'm like, in my brain, if I didn't pre-plan it using thumbnailing, it's a doodle because I was just kind of free drawing in a way. Um, Whereas if it's something I do for like a speed draw episode, there is, even if it's not on screen, like preliminary sketches that I do to figure out the composition because I have an intention of it being a more complete piece. So,
yeah,
yeah.
usually my problem is I just go in thinking about the character and then I end up being like, oh, they're
Hmm.
just in a white void.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
in
Because if
that
I,
instance, you can
yeah.
just sort of add a shape behind them. This is a thing I do a lot when I do my Patreon commissions. If it's just like a character commission, I'll do like a bunch of characters. I won't thumbnail. I'll just like, draw the character, like sketch the character until I've like got them in a pose that I like or something. And then what's nice about those is uh, I can I can just sort of crop as needed. And so then it's like, okay, well, I've drawn the character in this sort of vertical pose, so maybe I'll just let's see. It's a lot of D&D characters. I get so, I've got them and they've got their big sword or whatever. And then I'll crop, and then yeah, maybe just add like, a shape behind them. And if I want to get real fancy, maybe a little hint at like something in the distance that's cut out of the shape as well. That's just a little hack for if you find yourself in that situation. Like obviously it's better to
Yeah.
plan, but a lot of
It's
art
like
is just sort of getting away with it.
it's like a
Eh, eh,
very, very simplified version of the Bob Rossing,
yeah,
where you're generalizing the shape so much that you just have like a one color shape.
yeah,
That's basically what this is, where the implication is that, you know, there's mountains way in the distance, but you're not going to draw mountains, so you
no,
just kind of blob in a shape.
yeah,
So you can kind of just do that with any background. But I think if you're just kind of drawing for the sake of drawing, like if you just felt like drawing a character, then you did it. You drew a character. So they're in the white void. So what?
so what? So I'm in the
So they're in
white
the white
void.
void.
So
So
what?
what?
My favorite isekai. The person who
Like,
drew me didn't draw a background. What
gotta
do you
draw my own
want?
damn background. What do you want?
That'd be a
So
fun
what?
premise.
Yeah. Isekai into the canvas of a lazy artist, but into my own canvas. But yeah, but if your intention is to like draw characters and backgrounds, and you uh try more to plan that going into it instead of just focusing on the character and then placing them in a background.
Yeah.
Because say you want to draw a character and it makes sense for them to be in like a living room with furniture.
Yeah.
Well, if you just draw the character, then you have to like scale this entire room after the fact to
Yeah.
this character you've already drawn, and that's
That's more
actually quite
work.
difficult.
That's you've given yourself
Um,
more work. Oops.
yeah.
Yeah. I guess yeah. The real answer is like think about think about what you want the piece to be. If like if the living room is important to you, definitely start by blocking out the living room. If the living room isn't as important to you, don't draw it.
Yeah, I'm just like I half the time I'm drawing shit like they are in the white void. Like maybe I'll put them on top of a background or something,
Yeah.
event like a solid color or like a square, but I'm just like, look, I'm 30. I don't have time. They are where they are. I just wanted to draw so and so looking cute.
Yeah.
It's not about their furniture.
Yeah.
But if I want to draw their furniture, then I'll work that in.
Okay. Well, we're at about halfway.
Ooh.
Is Zappy here? I want to wait till Zappy gets here before we do.
Well, if Zappy's not here, they'll just catch it later.
Okay. Should I try?
You should try.
All right. So what Zappy wanted was to practice drawing or specifically coloring a scene with multiple light sources, which I don't have a ton of practice doing. So I'm kind of just gonna bumble ass my way through. And Karina, if you want to hop in and be like, do it different, actually, please feel
Okay.
free.
Aye aye.
But let's take the you know the living room example. Let's like
Oh.
because I'm sort of thinking like indoors. There's often multiple light sources. Like I would say typically, unless you're drawing like if you're drawing from reference, then, you know, look at the reference and see what the light's doing in it. If you're trying to draw like compose a scene with multiple light sources, um that's a little bit more tricky, and I assume that's what you're talking about. So, you do yourself a favor and pick sort of a primary light source and a secondary light source. So like I'm just sort of thinking like say you've got like a person who's looking at their computer. The computer is very bright on their face, but then they also have like some sort of overhead light. So you've got like light source, light source, light source. And yeah, let's sort of block in a scene where we've got like our furniture, our character, and why did I put he's wearing headphones? What is that line? What is that line, Nathan?
It's
Like
a
a
headphone vent.
yeah, okay. So yeah, let's just sort of let's use this as sort of our base. He's got his head way too close to the computer. We can move the computer back a little.
No, he's just a gamer.
He's having an intense gamer moment.
Yeah, he hasn't blinked in 3 hours.
So let's just sort of, we'll start with sort of a neutral color here. And then I guess let's just sort of like let's maybe say that like the light from the computer is going to be a brighter but cooler light source, and the light from the overhead is going to be a not as bright but warm light source. And we have the two sort of directions that our light is coming from, and we're just going to sort of think about the surfaces that those light sources are hitting. So the
Mhm.
computer light is coming in, hitting the face here. And again, this is a very rough and tumble
It's a good way to do it,
way
though.
to do it. Thank you, Karina. Um,
Best to
it's
ever do
hitting
it.
the face, and then you think about it's sort of it's looks like it's a little the way I've drawn the arrow. It's coming from below, so like it's going to be hitting the underside, the neck here, and the chest here, and it's a very intense. He's very close to it, so it's really going to be
It's a brightness
right right
100.
on the same layer. God damn it! It's fine. It's fine. We'll just
You're doing great. You're doing
just
fine.
do it like this, and then you can add little bits of sort of like this to indicate the zones where the light isn't hitting as strongly. But yeah, so like we've got our primary light source, and then we've got our secondary light source, and I will put that on another layer, so we'll
Very smart of you.
make that like sort of a little orangey. And so some of that, since it's coming from above, some of that's going to overlap. We'll just lower the opacity a little bit too here to indicate that it's not quite as strong. And then we're just going to draw where that come on.
Come
Come
on.
on. Come on. Where that light is hitting. And again, if it's a less intense, it's a more diffuse light source, you could even use like a softer brush for it.
I I want to add something just because like you already were doing this.
Mhm.
So like this was just like an instinct for you, I guess.
Yeah,
But
if you can help articulate what I'm doing in a way that's more helpful.
no, just it's one of those things where it's like once you know to do it, you're just doing it, but sometimes you need to be told to do it.
Yes.
So I never know if I'm just being redundant, but um one, thumbnailing out your values is always like a good way to kind of check these things beforehand, especially if you kind of want to go in and like do it real solid and clean,
Mhm.
which it just goes back to like planning ahead is always like it always pays off really well.
Yeah.
And then two, like Nathan did just already, if you want to like figure out a good kind of mapping out of your lighting or just like the values of an image, especially if you have these like strong light sources where light is being cast on the character, not starting on a white canvas
Yeah.
is a really helpful thing to do,
Absolutely.
because if you're having light sources and then you're blocking in the shadows, I mean I just personally feel like that's like more confusing to do than to have like, it's like putting this person in a dark room and then you're just turning on lamps. That's just kind of like a more straightforward way of picturing it in your head.
Yeah.
So, and I mean that's why I've always like for a long time now, even when I'm just like on like doodling on my computer, I like to start from a gray canvas rather than a white one, because then once you're kind of like sketching and stuff, it gives you more leeway in terms of blocking out planes and lighting. So, because yeah, that was something that you were already just doing from the start, where you put him on like a medium gray to put in the lighter values in a way that, yeah,
Yeah.
instead of just starting from a white screen, if that makes sense.
That is what I did. Yes. Uh,
Again, I don't know if it's being redundant,
no, no, I
but
think it's good to just like I assume people watching are at different levels than one another, and yeah, saying things that
yeah.
as someone who is not a teacher by trade, I try and teach by like just sort of demonstrating
Yeah.
what I'm doing, but yeah, just like saying exactly like what I did and why I'm doing that. It's like that's
Yeah.
exactly right. Like yeah, if I'm focusing on like color and value, like yeah, setting starting from like a neutral gray and then building out from there is definitely
Hmm.
the way to go, because then you can build up both your lights and your shadows, and then so like we've got like we've indicated sort of the highlights from both light sources, and then I guess the next thing I would do is try and indicate like the shadows from both light sources, where like obviously there are these sort of zones that are getting some light, but then obviously like parts that are not getting hit by the top light are gonna have a little bit of a shadow. Um,
Yeah.
so just like some standard shadow stuff here, and yeah, and so like some of the shadows are gonna from one light source are gonna overlap with being in the light from another light source. So let's, I'm just sort of using complementary colors here for the shadow. So I've got this sort of like bluish purple as the shadow from the above light source. And yeah, as you get further away, you're gonna again, it's this is we're just sort of blocking it in, but
Hmm.
the further away you get from the light source, and then things that are blocked by it could be like that, and then for the guess what would be the opposite, like a dark, like a dark orange,
A dork orange?
a brown, sort of a brownish shadow
Bran.
for the more blue light source. And
I
so that'll
guess
be,
I do also want to just add
yeah.
uh go back a tiny bit to the starting from gray, that if you work traditionally, you can buy gray toned paper. I absolutely love gray toned paper.
Oh yeah.
And that's really good, especially if you're doing like studies or life drawings, because then you can work from gray and then go in, with your, uh, say you're working in charcoal, just also have like white chalk or something. So then uh, you're starting in the middle and then building up your like bright whites and then dark blacks. It's nice. I love working like that. So anything where you can like add white to it to make it brighter is really fun. There's all sorts of toned papers available, so I recommend that if you are not much of a digital drawer. But yes. Hi,
So
Zappy. We're doing your bit.
we're doing your bit. Welcome. Sort of background. We've got, indicate that this light's coming from up here. Things are gonna be, and like the cool thing about picking light sources that are different colors from one another, and picking almost complementary colors, or complementary colors, is like the shadows from this light source are still being lit by this other light source, so it would make sense that they would be this sort of orangey color,
Mhm.
because like it's not getting hit with this blue computer light, but it is still being illuminated um, by the overhead light. Sort of a glow coming off here. And again, this is very like rough and tumble. sort of idea. But like that's sort of how I'd do it, and then maybe I'd use
Very good.
use some white to indicate like the brightest bits, which I think would be like sort of the parts facing the screen here. Something like that. I would recommend
Yeah.
going complimentary. And maybe, you know what, I think I
Can
put
never
too
go
much
wrong.
I think I put too much like purple into these shadows. I think I might want to make them a little bit more blue actually. So working digitally, you can always just sort of adjust. You can make the adjustments. Working traditionally, you can just add whatever color to to fix. You know, use a type of paint that you can keep adjusting. You know,
Yeah,
color over it.
unfuck it up.
And then yeah, let's put obviously the back of the computer screen would be very dark because um that part is absolutely not getting any of the computer light on it. Something like that. That's how I'd do it.
Yeah.
And I guess the back of the computer is also not really it's not really getting a ton of overhead light either, so I might even make that like an even
Dark spot.
an even darker spot on the screen. And that just is nice compositionally to have like a really bright thing next to a really dark thing. Helps it pop.
Yeah.
And you can get in the weeds on it, you know, like there'd be maybe a little bit of this blue hitting parts of the chair that are not being fully blocked by this guy. So like, you know, you get this sort of effect happening where the colors intermingle. And yeah, this is way easier to do digitally, just because you can do different layers and sort of adjust the opacity and stuff. But it's the same idea, you know, like if you were painting this, um, you'd be doing a lot more blending
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. Um, is that helpful?
What do you think of
What
that?
do you get a load of this? Have a load of this. Let me know. We'll just draw some animals unless people have
Sorry,
other
I was trying
specific
to think if
things.
I had like anything good to add to that, but you did a really good job
Thank you,
explaining
Karina. That means
it.
a lot. I really like your the way you call you did a whole class that's like just about values and
I mean,
colors and like
yeah, I like that class. Cough,
yeah.
cough. Everyone should go check it out. Cough. But I mean, that doesn't cover like lighting and stuff. So I think this was a good explanation.
Yeah, and this is of course like if you're making something from your imagination,
You
you
can
have
just
you can just make
make
it
it
up.
up.
So like, you know, choose colors. You're like, I want this to have two light sources.
Yeah.
Decide one of them. Do yourself a favor. Decide one of them is brighter. Decide they're different colors. Decide their colors are not too similar to one another. That'll make your life easier. If you're drawing from reference with multiple light sources, you know, like that'll help you get better at doing something like this because you can
Yeah.
actually just see like you'll be able to just like look at a photograph or look at the scene that you've set up with like I don't know your lamps or whatever and you can see exactly the way those two different light sources interact with the different objects that you set up. And like
Mm-hmm.
obviously like the stronger of those two light sources is going to have a, a more dramatic effect on the color of the objects in the scene. Um, but like just again by going back and like viewing it firsthand, you're going to learn more than like just being like, this is how I think it's supposed to be. Like anytime you draw from reference, you're adding ammo to
Mm-hmm.
your arsenal, to the tools that you can use when you are composing from imagination. I sure didn't use two similar colors. Nope. Just pick one.
Mm.
Just pick one to be stronger. Pick one to be your number one, and pick one to be your number two, and like that. Like I mean, I love like you can do like a real moody scene,
Yeah.
like here, like I love thinking like what am I thinking? What am I thinking, Karina? Like we've got like
What are you thinking?
I'm still on this like two light source
Yeah.
kick. Like maybe
Zappy, can I at least ask that if are the light colors like contrasting to the like neutral lighting or shadow colors? Because that'll help. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
you got
I still don't know what you're thinking.
I'm trying to think of like an even more like sort of stylized um image where it's like you've got this like main light source that like the whole image basically is like you've got like maybe like there's an alarm going off or something, so like everything
Mm-hmm.
everything is red, right? Like you've got like
Yeah.
this permeating red that's like everywhere, but then like maybe you've got like sort of a harsh light coming in
Mm-hmm.
from one source that's like really really intense. You do something like that where like this could also be like a red, but it's like there's like a gentle red and a hard red.
Ah, you mean like very, very strong lighting, you mean, is what you're
Yeah,
trying to say?
yeah. So like you've got like this again, I keep thinking of like computer monitors, but like you've got this guy, he's like at this like terminal or whatever, and like it's blasting it's blasting him with like this intense light, but then there's also this like dull red light everywhere.
Ah,
And so you
yeah,
can sort of use that secondary light as it almost like becomes the shadow,
yeah.
you
There's
know?
like trips and tricks. This is like um I have like I have shortcuts for how I do stuff like this for
Mm-hmm.
my own stuff. To do like this very stylized kind of lighting
Yeah.
if you want me to tab over, I can try and do something.
Oh, would you? If are you
If you want, it would mean setting up uh my screen share, but happy to take you let you have a little breaky. Let's see what's a good sketch I have lying around.
I'm just having fun
Yeah, this
with
is
this.
good. Yeah, because I totally see what you're doing, and I like to do that sort of thing often, and I just have a different way of doing it.
I want to know what it is.
Let's see,
Let's see.
what's
I'm
like a good
gonna
sketch I
put.
have? All my drawings are a fucking chill check.
Let me know when you're. Let me know when you're ready,
Okay.
and I will. All my drawings are of Chill Chuck.
What do I have? What do I have that has like color on it? Fuck. Uh, it's not Chill Chuck. I don't want to do Chill Chuck. Do this Neopets one. Fuck it. Um, and let's close the episode spoiler so I don't accidentally flash it. Okay. I am ready.
You ready? Okay. Let's go back here and for whatever reason when we're on the hold screen, it won't. You can't hear Karina, but we'll cut back. Hold on. Okay. Okay.
Yippee! Here is a guy. So what I usually do, I actually like don't even shade my drawings half the time anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But my version of this is so
So you've done like a little bit of soft shading on the wings here, just
very
in.
barely. Yeah, I think that was more of just meant to be like a feather gradient that I
Oh,
didn't feel
okay.
like actually coloring.
Well, it looks nice. So this is like this is
So
flats. Like you've sort of flatted
yeah,
in. You've done your sketch or your line art
let's
and flats.
say yeah, let's get creative.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that there is like a soft yellow kind of overall light, and then maybe like just as like a funny haha, a funny hee hoo, like a blue coming in from that way,
Yeah.
but we're in a red setting. Let's get crazy.
Okay, we've got three color. We've got all of
Yeah.
the
So this
primary
is
colors
yeah, so this is gonna
represented.
be like our I made it more of a pink because I'm feeling gluttonous. So like
Yeah, and it's a cyan.
how I do, because most of the time when I draw something, I'll always do it in flats, like in just like the color that they are.
Yeah.
Um, and then I use one for the yellow. Let's let's see what it looks like with like an overlay. So that can be
Okay,
like
so
that yellowish
that's the
light.
layer. That's the layer effect. You have it on overlay.
I have it on like a layer effect overlay. So
Okay.
that'll just be kind of some like neutral yellow light going
Okay.
on the character.
Nice.
And uh does this work? And then for the overall red lighting, I'll add that in as like a multiply.
Yeah.
And then how am I doing this? How do I do this? I'm panicking. I'm panicking.
It looks great right now. Like
So,
it's
oh
already
yeah.
doing. Ooh.
So
Ooh.
then for the
Okay, so
blue,
you've
is that?
multiplied now. That whole layer is over top
Yeah.
of the yellow.
This is how I like do any sort of like crazy lighting, and then I just kind of like fuck around with it until it looks less bad.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
because when you multiply something, you can go in with white, and that's like an erase
yeah,
essentially. White on multiply erases, or you can
yeah.
just do like an eraser. So I'm like, okay, maybe for that, that's that. So, oh, this looks crazy. But yeah, so this is like,
So
say
yeah,
for
you have the
example,
soft erase for the yellow because the yellow is a softer
yeah.
light
I'm trying to
source, and then
decide
you're
how I
doing
want to
a
do the blue, because
okay.
the blue you can also do as like an add layer. That looks crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, this actually looks really bad.
I think it looks
But
good.
thank you. Because another thing
Ooh, what'd you
is
do?
that I just got rid of the yellow because I decided I didn't like it.
Okay, that's another thing you can do is you can
Yeah.
try something and realize you don't like it and get rid of it, and no one
Sometimes
can
it's
stop
fun
you.
with multiply layers to just be like, okay, this is
But
this
yeah,
is also kind
using
of like a bad
using
drawing to demonstrate this on because it's very purple.
yeah.
I chill chuck too close to the sun. I should
No,
have
that's
just used
okay.
chill chuck.
I I mean like I the idea is, using the
Yeah.
different layer styles
This is like a
and
chill
and
chucker.
having them interact to oh, it's a
Piece of
good chill
shit.
chuck.
Piece of shit. I hate you. Let's see. So let's go something more along the lines of what you were saying, where
Chill
me
chuck
when the alarm goes off.
chill chuck set off the alarm.
Yeah.
So you've done the red multiply layer,
Yeah, so the red
and
is
now
like
you're
the ambient
just
color,
and now you're
and
just
now I'm
or
doing a
you're doing
yellow.
yellow on that layer.
Yeah, and this can be like that overhead light.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. This works better because it's not an incredibly purple character where I was trying to do purple lighting on top of it like an
Yeah.
idiot, like a dumbass.
You don't need to do that.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I think like and depending on like how intense you want
Yeah, this is all just in the multiply layer. That's the lighting color I'm using.
the vibe to be, like I do this sort of thing too, and like for example that like the green on his scarf there,
Hmm.
like if I was like I want this composition to just be like warm colors, I would maybe um I would maybe select that and just like on the flats layer and just like desaturate the green
Yeah.
or something. Like you can ooh, and then now you got that blue rim lighting over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a lot of ways you can do it. But yeah, like using multiply layers
Yeah.
to
Multiply
just
is
like
like a fun one to use if you're trying to figure out like the color scheme.
yeah. Yeah, oftentimes I'll do what you did and like flatten the colors the way that I think they should look, and then once I do the multiply layer, I end up like going back in and desaturating the flats so that they can all sort of be
Hmm.
more in line with the color they
Yeah.
get from the multiply layer.
But
But
yeah,
yeah.
this is a better way of doing it. I got too cocky with that first one. I'm sorry.
You just didn't want to show Chill Chuck, but
It turns out chill chuck is a good way of
and,
setting it up.
and now we have a thumbnail for the stream VOD.
No. It's your
I
class.
know.
Take
It's my
responsibility.
it's my class, but Chill Chuck's in the thumb.
But yeah, and then
That's
you just
maybe that's the
continue.
thing. It's this, but then it's like a little doodle of me being like,
Yeah, I drew this.
if anyone asks,
But yeah, because then if you want it to be like particularly like that's when you can kind of go in with like a
soft brush here.
Yeah.
This is
I
an
mean, not a soft, a glow,
a
add glow
add
layer.
glow. Is that specific to Clip Studio
It
or
might be, but it's basically the same as an add layer, just slightly stronger.
okay?
So, because sometimes what I'll do is that if I like really want to make this pop, I'll just kind of go in and like, uh,
Pop it.
yeah, 'cause that's a little, yeah. The world's brightest screen on one side of him.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's just how I do it, sorry.
No, it's we have you here, and you're a very good artist. So any insight you wish to add to this
Yeah.
class is much appreciated. Thank you, Karina, for sharing. I hope
Yeah.
that was helpful.
It's just another way of doing the same thing you were doing,
Yeah,
that's all.
yeah. Like the theory is the same, which is just
Yeah.
like everything every like 3D object, and I'm including like living beings in that term. You know, any three-dimensional thing, subject matter for art is like made up of surfaces, and depending on where the light is coming from, it's going to be hitting those surfaces in different ways, depending on the intensity of the light, the direction of the light, how far away that light source is from the
Yeah.
subject matter. And
Someone in
you,
chat.
as the artist, get to decide which is stronger, which is weaker, which is further away, which is closer, and use that to create composition. Oh, we've got okay. So now he's in like
Someone in
sort of a
chat was saying different light
okay.
sources,
So we've got
such
like
as
a torch
that
light.
aren't a screen.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can only think what else makes
What
light?
else is
I don't
there?
understand. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got sort of a torch light here,
Yeah.
a flame,
Maybe,
a willow
maybe,
wisp.
maybe his charged lemonade is on fire.
Oh, he's drinking.
That's
I
the light
just noticed
source.
he's drinking charged lemonade. Excited for this to post.
So
The lemonade that kills you.
he needs it.
Yeah,
He'll be fine. He can handle this much.
yeah.
But yeah,
So this is
for like a yeah,
so
I would put it on like a blue background and then
so this is all on the multiply layer. You put a
yeah,
blue multiply layer over everything, and then on that multiply layer, you're adding
yeah,
yellow on top of the flats that you've already colored in, and it creates this
yep,
effect,
yep.
um, which is very cool.
Yeah, sometimes it's like more work to like uh do the extra like putting in the flats in neutral color and then going in and doing the lighting. But uh then you can do shit like this.
Yeah, then you can then you have your drawing, and you can mess around with the lighting. Yeah, again, it's
Yeah.
that same thing we were talking about before about like, adding the background after the fact versus planning the composition around it. You can do the same thing with lighting as well. Like you can go into your piece with a specific lighting scheme in mind, in which case you can thumbnail that in before you start, or you can just be like, I want to draw a character, and then after you draw the character, be like, I want to try some different lighting and see what I like on this piece. Like there's no one way is not more valid than the other. It's
Yeah.
just depending on how much time you want to spend planning versus futzing,
Yeah.
basically.
And I will say, Scoots, yes, this was your suggestion in chat. And also, it's a pretty nebulous suggestion because you also said a flashlight. And it's like, well, that's another like fun thing that just kind of comes down to, as Nathan is saying, like pre-planning and composition and stuff, where all of these lights like will light up the picture differently.
Yeah.
So I love flashlight lighting because it's like scary, but it's kind of difficult to replicate well. How do I
Because
do
it's
this?
super directional.
Yeah, depending on the flashlight, I guess. Like, okay, let's just do it here.
Yeah.
Let's just do it
Just do it
here.
there.
Yeah, depending on, on what kind of flashlight it is, like it can also be like really strong.
Yeah. So
You can see this in
everything.
the dungeon, what you do.
Yeah. Chilchuck survival horror game. You're just
Yeah.
walking around the dungeon.
With the charged lemonade.
Yeah.
But yeah, because this one, like, flashlight lighting is so funny, but I only have just started trying to do it, so I'm like it's very harsh compared to the other ones.
Yep.
So uh
Yeah. So you're starting with the basic shape that the flashlight makes, which is a circle, and then you're
yeah.
going in and
Really,
indicating all of the areas
yeah, the
that
shadows are
are,
like really shallow.
yeah, they're shallow but intense,
Yes.
because they're just the light is either hitting or not. There's not really any softness
Mm-hmm.
um with a flashlight. And then yeah, you do this thing where the stuff that's in the foreground is gonna the light's gonna hit it a little bit before
Yeah.
the stuff further back. So you indicate that like so. And again, this is a great example. Like, this is something you can absolutely recreate at home if you have a dark room and a flashlight and just any object, and you can see exactly
Yeah.
the way that it illuminates a thing. And it'll be something like this. It'll be a circle, a
Yeah.
basic circle shape, and then you'll notice that bits that are closer get hit. It doesn't form a perfect circle because objects aren't flat.
And then you can be like extra. Is this gonna look any good?
Yeah. He hates it.
Sorry, I got like really delighted.
It's good. Karina, it's good.
He looks like he's about to cry.
It's like, could you stop?
Please stop
I mean,
doing
I was
this.
I was trying to enjoy my charged lemonade in the dark.
Yeah. My wife left me.
This
Let
is
me have
this is
this.
all I have. Please.
Yeah, something like this.
Something like that.
Yeah, for especially for like really like dramatic stylized lighting, just see, look up how it looks like IRL, like, you know,
But yeah, using
one that I always like seeing is like flash photography, like trying people trying to make it look like flash photography. That one's
yeah.
fun. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a combination of looking at reference and then trying to replicate that based on based on your experience, and then you can use these fun layer properties
Yeah.
to add to
I'll
it.
also just say that, especially if you're still learning like digital art and stuff, it can be kind of confusing to like experiment with um, all the different layer styles. To which I say, just experiment, just see what each one does and how you like to use it.
Yeah. I
Most layer
basically
styles I never use, but
yeah, I basically only ever use multiply, and then to a lesser extent overlay and screen.
yeah. So
S-
I've gotten into like gradient mapping, like getting preset gradient maps to like really finagle. Also, at any point, if you want to switch over, give me the go ahead.
Yeah, let's switch back.
Yes.
Okay. Again, when I switch to the to the hold screen, you're gonna be muted.
Say when I can do it.
All right, here I go. Yeah, you can stop sharing. I will share. Let's hold on. Hold on. Let's move this first so that it's not just sharing. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay.
Wahoo!
We're back. We're back, baby. Okay. Anyway, thank you, Karina, for the demonstration.
Thank you for letting me do it. Sorry, it was confusing at first.
That is so relatable. That's
So is life.
yeah. Things are confusing. Drawing's confusing. We're here
Yeah.
figuring it out together. It's okay.
Mhm.
We've got like 20 minutes left.
Is it animal time?
Do you want to draw some animals, chat?
I love watching you draw animals because then it makes me better at drawing animals.
You're so good at drawing animals.
It's
That's
because I
such
was
an
second chair that one time you did an animal drawing class.
such an honor.
Like the fact that you like simplified a dog's head so like easily in front of my very eyes enabled me to draw so much smut of my Neopets. Like you did that.
I'm so that's my greatest accomplishment because you've drawn so many since then.
I I feel like I didn't have like a strong grasp on like good animal face shape until I just kind of like sat down and watched you do it, and then I was like, it's easy.
Yeah, it's just shapes.
He did it so easily. Oh
Yeah,
my
if I could do
goodness.
it, if this idiot could do it,
No. Nathan taught me how to draw animals so I could draw furries of my Neopets.
my
He
greatest accomplishment.
he did that. He did that for all of us.
You're welcome.
Wahoo!
This is a bar.
Bar.
He's just going. "Arr!"
Ah.
So yeah, just sort of again keeping it loose. Just sort of trying to draw the shapes. Not not being too precious about it. We're just gonna go quick. We're just gonna go quick here. Just sort of
This is a nice bear.
yeah, I like it. Again, line of action, great website for any sort of reference image you could want, whether it's like for um, drawing people, drawing animals. They got it. It's like the mouth is even floppier than what I drew. I love how floppy a bear's mouth is. Just, yeah. Okay, that's the bear. We did that. We can do what's I don't even know what the oh we got a horse.
Hormps.
Horse. Again, we're just sort of try and spend as much time looking at
Hmm.
the reference as you are looking at your own piece and really try to forget what you know about how a horse should look and just look at the shapes that it's making right here. We're just gonna, do some contours. And what I like to do, this is when doing any sort of contour drawing, figure drawing, animal, human, whatever, is I like to try and compare what I'm drawing specifically in the negative space. You'll find these really interesting
Yeah.
shapes in the negative space that will help sort of show you what bits you've you've goofed on, what bits
Yeah.
you made look a certain way and then are actually different. And so that's just a
It's
little.
it's a good tool for measurement.
Yes. And again, we're not trying to be perfect here. We're just exercising.
Hmm.
So, you know,
It's a
I
bit of
obviously,
a
like, I got the angle. My angle is not the same as the angle in this image, as it turns out. I gave it a much more gradual slope than what this horse
yeah,
actually is experiencing,
coming down from it.
but it's okay. This is just this is just for practice.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, this is a cute one.
Oh, gravity has gotten the best of
There's some
them.
real good shapes in here. Just a real foldy friend. Again, just sort of try and look at the shapes that are being created. It's such a funny picture. And you know, I think it's good practice to sometimes take a picture that's so perfect already and try and draw it, because it takes the pressure off. It's like you're not going to be able to make it look as amazing as it looks here, but you can still learn. You can still learn from it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, what a friend. Tongue's going up like this. I'm erasing a little bit, but you know, you don't need to.
Some, bring back drawing just to draw.
Yeah,
Just 'cause.
just cuz we're just having fun.
For the benefit of yourself and no one else.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
Hmm.
We're here to help. We're here to have a good time. We're here to remind you that drawing is just, it should be a pleasant experience. And if you're finding that it's not for whatever reason, you can take a break, or you can try and do things that make it more pleasant for you, whatever that might be. For me, it's drawing animals. For you, it might be drawing Chilchuck. Who knows? Who knows what it is, but you know, just activate your brain.
Yeah.
Let it do its thing. It feels good to create something, even if it's just for you, even if you don't share it with anybody.
Hmm.
For example, here, I made this way too big. It's further away. Didn't give him enough space. That's okay.
Oh, he looks like pudding.
He's just sort
He
of
l-
he's
he
just sort of
looks like a
puddinging.
pie that was dropped.
Yeah. It's really good. It's really good. Like that. A spoon. A burb.
Burb.
Nice little S shape here already. The beak is more like this. There we go. It just goes right into the bottom of the head shape, which
Oh.
then comes back like this. We're back to the little parallel curvy lines from the very beginning.
Oh. It all comes
It
back
all
to
comes
that.
back.
Wow.
Wowie wow. These wing shapes. And we got the wing shape like on Cass. We're gonna end up going over.
Wings are
Uh,
so fun. They're just big arms.
yeah, they're big arms with lots of stuff on them. Feathers. It's got sort of coming off like this. Look at the negative space. See where things are in relation to one another. What the shapes are actually doing. Really fun. You know,
You know,
I should do this more. I should do
what,
this
just
not just
draw animals?
when
I think
strangers
you
on the
should.
internet are paying me.
Yeah.
I always say this, and then
You are always saying
I'm
this
always
shit.
saying this. Maybe this time though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, we have the DrawClass chat Discord channel on the Drawfee Discord where you can share anything you've drawn during class or anything that you feel like the class has helped you with. If there are any pieces that you're working on that you feel like anything that
Yeah.
we discussed on today's class helped shed new light on, always happy to see that. Always happy to see people just like sharing their stuff. Some real cool
Yeah.
like lighting happening
And
here.
also, if you have any ideas that you would like to see in future draw classes of what we should cover, let us know. And either in the chat or Julia also made a Google Doc that I
Yes.
believe is also pinned in the draw class chat. It's a survey for you to submit anything that you're really interested in so that we can go through and be like, oh, we should do that.
Yeah.
Oh geez.
Yeah. Like I think, this is pretty if it's a me draw class, it's gonna be like this. It's gonna
Hmm.
be very loose, very just sort of hanging out vibes, working on whatever in the moment, figuring it out, and then if no one brings anything, just sort of some warm up and some animal drawing is probably where it's gonna be with me. But I'm always happy to I'm always happy to get a question out of left field like Zappy's about multi multi light source coloring, something that I myself avoid in my pieces because it seems hard, but it does look cool. So, you know, feel free to push me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, maybe that's something we can do.
Yeah. Um maybe okay. We've got like 5 minutes left. Maybe we'll just do one animal from imagination now that we're all
Oh, imagine Nathan
an
animal?
imaginathan animal. I liked that swan's face. So maybe we'll start with like a swan face.
Yeah. And this one, you're not looking at any of the
I'm not
reference
looking at I'm
anymore.
not looking at nothing. We filled our brain
Oh,
and now we can do whatever we want.
kind of
Make
want to go buy ice cream.
some sort of a creature.
Could I little... Maybe I'll go get ice cream after this, Nathan.
You're gonna get ice cream? Where do you get ice cream?
At the grocery store.
Yeah.
There is a Carvel near me, despite everything.
Nice.
There's a couple local spots I really need to check out sometime too. But I decided to indulge a little and buy ice cream cones. And then I ran
Ooh.
out of ice cream, so
Gotta get them.
yeah. And then maybe I could make a milkshake too, because I own a blender now. Sky's the limit.
Wow.
Oh, it's like a dino.
Yeah, we always end up back at Dinosaur Lies.
Oh, he's predictable.
Get some of that.
You just have such a good energy during these streams.
It's
So,
just I just want people to come away from these streams feeling inspired to draw more.
yeah.
That's like the most important thing is just to like find ways to keep yourself if you like drawing at all, if it's something that brings you any amount of joy, I want it to continue doing that for you. I want to
Yeah.
it's so easy to get burned out. It's so easy to like feel discouraged and you don't have to. We're all in this together. We're all just out
It
here trying our
is.
best and it's always really inspiring to me to see like that people keep coming back to these draw classes that there's stuff that y'all still want to learn about from us or along with us as the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
um and I just want to take some of the pressure away. You got so many things in life, art related or not, that are gonna put pressure on. If I can take a little pressure off, then I'm happy
It
happy
is
to do so.
my favorite thing that people will tell us sometimes when we like meet and greet or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Uh where they tell us like we helped make drawing fun again or like
Again, yeah,
took off the
we
pressure
got
or
them back
anything.
into it. It's like
Yeah.
that's the best. It's like you
The
used to do
biggest
a
win of
thing.
all.
Yeah. And so, you know, if
'Cause, yeah,
if
it does. Art does kind of suck, but there's a reason we all like to do it.
yeah,
So I'm glad.
that's my favorite. Yeah, if you're watching this VOD and you used to like to draw and you haven't in a while, just try a little. Just draw some coral.
Yeah.
Just draw some coral and see how you
Yeah.
feel, you know?
Away from the eyes of others.
Yeah, you don't need to show anybody. You can throw it out
Yeah.
immediately.
Just do the parts that you like
The
doing.
doing is what's important. What you drew,
Exactly.
what you drew is less important than that you drew. That's something that I say and part of my brain still doesn't fully believe, but I think it is true. And
Yes.
you have to keep finding ways to trick your the part of your brain that tells you no to shut up, and the part of your brain that just wants to vibe. Follow that.
Yeah.
Follow your bliss. Make things, do things, and appreciate yourself. Um, well, that's five. Thank you everybody who supports us on
Woo.
Patreon.
Thank you.
You keep us going. Thank you, Karina, for the impromptu demonstration. My lovely teaching assistant,
Thank-
who ended
Thanks for
up.
rolling with it.
Oh no, I mean if you got activated, I was like, oh hell yeah, we get a little Karina bonus lesson in here. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you, patrons. Again, let us know if there's ever anything you'd like to see a full class on, because we are always just scraping for
yeah.
ideas. Because I think next month might be me, isn't it?
Oh okay. Well maybe I'll take the ball from you at one point just to.
Oh, it's transactional. But
Pay
yeah,
it
so
forward.
if
Yeah.
anyone if there's anything anyone's like interested in me specifically, why golly gee, let
Yeah.
us know.
Yeah. Yeah. You can
But thank you for being
always.
here regardless.
Yeah. You can always just if you have an idea for a draw class, feel free to put that in the draw class chat
Yeah.
channel as well. It's for showing off your art related to draw class as well as talking about what you'd like to see us do. We're here for you. You're paying for it, so we wanna make it worth your time and money. And if you're watching the VOD, thanks for tuning in. Consider supporting us on
Yeah.
Patreon. We appreciate the support.
We do this every
We
month.
do this every month. That's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. We're sorry.
Sorry.